Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm G.
Okay, before we start, if you're not subscribed, do us a favour, give us a like and subscribe. You know, it makes sense,
Hello.
helps us, and we feel really happy about it, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, helps us grow. Can I fool Brits with a fake British accent?
I think it's really difficult now because there's so many people who live around the world and they pick up different
Dialects.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
what is a
it's-
British accent?
I think if someone puts on a British accent to me, I can usually pick it up that it's not their real accent, because I'm quite used to different regional accents around the country.
Yeah.
So unless you've got a real strong like Scouse, unless you're really good at doing like a Scouse accent or a Geordie accent
Yeah.
or something like that, then yeah. But if you're going to do the generic "Hello, I'm from London"
Yeah.
accent, then I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's. I was talking to some lads outside football the other day who were from London, who'd moved to Manchester, and I knew they weren't putting the accent on. They were from London.
Yeah.
You could tell they had that proper London accent.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, definitely from London. Moved up to Manchester, but to put on a fake British accent depends which one you use. And I think if this guy has done his research, he's not going to go for the regular "Hello, I'm from London."
Yeah, the posh one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and use that. He might go for like a more regional accent. I think you might even probably the easiest one to get away with would be Bristol.
Or Birmingham.
Or Birmingham, yeah. Bristol. I think Bristol will be the easiest one because it's more like a pirate
Declan's
accent.
very good at accents.
Yeah, he
isn't
is, but it's more like a pirate accent, yeah,
Yeah.
sort of thing. But let's see how he gets on. I imagine he's American.
Yes.
I don't know who this guy is, so
No, I don't.
let's see. Can I fool Brits with a fake British accent?
In this video, I'm going to attempt to learn a British accent and fool British people into thinking I'm British. Will it work? Probably not. They'll probably be like, "You're not British, you wanker." But it probably won't be a total failure. Maybe I'll be able to fool them for a little while until they notice something's wrong. And even if I don't really succeed, I'll still learn a lot about British accents in the process. Notice I said British accents with an S. There are different regional accents spoken all over the UK, with local variations. And accents also differ depending on social factors like socioeconomic status. Rather than choose one of those many accents, I'll choose the one non-regional accent, RP, or received pronunciation. You might hear it referred to as the Queen's English or BBC English. In past decades, it was the prestige accent and was the standard accent used in media like the BBC.
It's like mine.
Nothing like yours. But he's going for the one you said not to do.
Yeah.
Its traditional form isn't spoken by many people these days, but I'll attempt to learn its modern incarnation, referred to as modern RP, or standard Southern English. If I focus on learning a fully RP accent, I might be setting a trap for myself in this video, because it might be more obvious that I'm putting on an accent. But I don't know where else to start, so I guess I'll start with RP. RP? More like RP. The first thing I need to do is make sure I know which sounds are different in RP and then practice those sounds. I can't practice them all at the same time because that would be a big mess, so I'm going to focus on each sound individually. Maybe this book will help. It teaches the individual sounds of RP one by one, so I can practice each one in isolation. Fast, rather, disaster. I'm also going to listen to a lot of...
He could actually get away
I
with
think
that
he's
there.
gonna get away with
He could
this.
get away with that the way he was saying that, and he's putting a lot of effort into
He
learning
is,
it.
yeah.
But if someone was putting him on and they say disaster, then you kind of like think, yeah, okay, you'd go with something like that, rather, disaster.
Yeah.
Don't know, but it's
My mum wanted me to have elocution lessons when I was younger because I had a really mank accent.
yeah. I was talking to a lad the other day, and remember we meet the two Americans in the bar.
Yeah.
I was talking to the bartender, and he was from Bath, right? And he pronounced it Bath.
Bath.
Yeah, I know, and it's Bath. And he said, whatever way you say it, because us Southerners are scared of you Northerners. And I went, yeah, okay. He went, no, we are.
Funny.
of modern RP by watching YouTubers who speak with that accent, so I can hear the sounds I've been practicing in natural speech. The first sound I'm working on is the long ah sound, as in the word bath. In my native Canadian
Funny,
accent, I
he
would
is
say
Canadian.
bath.
Canadian.
Well,
The RP accent also has
before when he started talking, I thought he's got an accent that's not. I can't pick up where he was from. Actually, I thought he might have been Eastern European,
Right.
but moved to America.
Yeah.
I thought he's an Eastern European that's moved somewhere.
Yeah.
But he's Canadian. That'll explain it then.
that ah sound as well, so I'm going to have to make sure I know which words have the ah sound and which words have the ah sound. Bath, class, chance, finance. Wait, that's not right.
No.
Finance.
Finance.
When you see the letter combination AR, it's pronounced ah, as in car, park, far. Where's the R? Well, that's another feature of RP pronunciation. It's R-less or non-rhotic. That means that the R sound is not pronounced at the end of a syllable unless it's followed by a vowel. So if I say far from the park, there's no R in far. But if I say far away, there is an R. This is one of the most obvious features of the RP accent, and I don't find it that difficult. I'm much more worried about the vowel sounds. Another vowel is the long aw, like in my name, Paul. In my own accent, I'd say Paul, which is a more open sound. Daughter, walk, talk, almost. In the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet, it's usually written with this symbol, but that's not really what I hear. I hear something between this and this. So I think I'm saying the vowel somewhere in the right range, but I have a feeling that British people will think it sounds a bit off. George was falling asleep awkwardly in a sprawl. I'm doing my best, but I really have no idea if this sounds authentic or not.
No.
Like, no idea whatsoever. To be able to hear if I'm saying the sounds correctly, I'm going to start recording myself saying the sounds, then listen to the recordings. The written laws ought to prevent thoughtless talks. Another vowel sound...
It's two stop and start.
It was the thoughtless bit that threw me there. That had me going to think that he's not got it right.
Yeah.
Long way to go in the video yet, and he's learning it very, very well.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. It's but I still think if you're trying to blag your way to having an English accent, I'm not sure many people speak like that, and that's what you're saying. It's
a dying
an accent.
breed.
It's an accent that's not really sort of like widely spoken anymore.
No.
And if you try to do it, if you put on a fake Scouse accent, like I say, I think you get away with it more.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I need to practice is the short ah sound, as in the word stop. In my accent, I'd say stop, stop versus stop, lost versus lost, gone versus gone, want versus want. Now I have to be careful to distinguish between this short ah sound and the long aw sound. Stalk, stalk, caught, caught. In my accent, these two sounds have merged, so these words would all be pronounced with an ah vowel. Stalk, stalk, caught, caught. Another typically RP vowel that I need to practice is this one. It normally appears in words with an E, I, or U before R. Were, first, bird. In my Canadian accent, I would say were, first, bird. Another thing I need to practice is the pronunciation of the T sound, t, followed by oo. For example, I say Tuesday, but in modern RP, it's Tuesday. I say tube, but in modern RP, it's tube. It's not difficult to say those words that way, but I have to remember to say them that way. There are also some words with different stress, like the word garage. That's how I say it, garage. But in RP, it's garage or garage. I can't memorize how lots of individual words are pronounced in a short period of time, so even if I can master the basic sound patterns of RP, Brits might notice if I say those individual words incorrectly. And if that's the case, well, we'll see what happens. Alright, enough talking and preparation.
slang in there
I want to
as well.
see how this goes, so let's give it a try.
Goes.
How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad.
You from the UK?
Yes, I am.
You can see I've got the play button here. So I run a YouTube channel called Lang Focus, which is all about languages.
YouTube.
So if it's all right with
Yes.
you, I'd like to ask you a few trivia questions to see if you know the answers. Which language has the most native speakers around the world?
Most native speakers around the world.
Notice I said native speakers, not total number of speakers.
I would guess Chinese.
Chinese, right, it's Mandarin. English
Yes.
has the most total speakers, the largest number of speakers overall, including second language speakers.
Second language, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
What's
Okay.
the official language of the UK?
Is this a trick question?
Oh.
I'm tempted to say English, but maybe that might be wrong.
In law, there
Okay.
actually is no official language of the UK.
Really?
All right, can I ask you one other question? This one's a bit out of left field. Based on the way I'm speaking, where do you think I'm from?
Maybe Germany.
Not the UK?
No,
No, okay. So something must be off about the way I'm
like a
speaking.
slight accent.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed my chat with this British man.
He almost had like a Eastern European, like I said before.
Yeah.
It's like a twang to it. Like he seems to be
doesn't sound
a bit
British.
robotic. He's almost like it's a bit robotic
Yeah.
for me.
But I did not succeed in making him think that I'm British. When I listen to the recording, I can hear a few blatant mistakes in my pronunciation. For example, I said called instead of cold, ask instead of ask, and answer instead of answer. Obviously, that was my Canadian accent coming through. I got similar reactions from others. So, Based on the way I'm speaking, where do you think I'm from?
Netherlands.
Netherlands, all right.
London.
Why do you say that?
Yeah, you sound Dutch.
I sound Dutch, all right. What do you think of the way I'm speaking? Does it sound off, or does it sound...
It sounds a
Little
bit
fun.
off. It sounds a bit off, but straight from the back, I wouldn't say that you're not British. Like, I thought maybe you're something else. Maybe you're mixed, maybe Eastern European or something. No, not Eastern European. I'd say Swedish,
Right,
Scandinavian countries. But
right.
having said that, it's not bad. It's alright.
None of their reactions were bad, and they seemed to assume I was a non-native speaker who had learned a British accent imperfectly, which is fine, of course, but I still want to improve my accent and make it as close to native as possible. So I've been listening.
He doesn't sound Canadian to me.
No, he's still got that. He's still got that Eastern European sort of like vibe for me,
Yeah.
and his looks a little bit like Scandic as well, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, but you look at like he's pronouncing a t. I want to talk about the accent, and we don't talk like that.
No.
You know, it's that's the giveaway for me, and I think that's what's giving it away to the other guys because he's talking to other guys who haven't got the RP
Yeah.
as well. So because he's saying like I said ask, I say ask, I don't say ask.
No.
If I went into Watson and say, "Can I ask?" Everyone just go, "Knobhead," wouldn't they?
But ours is a northern
Yeah.
accent, whereas he's trying to do
The RP, yeah,
southern.
the posh, sort of like the
Yeah.
British, the
Yeah.
Queen's English.
Yeah.
But what he'd be better off, like I keep saying, he'd be better off fooling someone with a regional accent and putting on like a Scouse, Bristol, you know, a Gloucester.
Yeah.
Because Gloucester's very easy to do because you sort of like a pirate.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll get away with it then. But and they do sort of like go, I'm going down Bristol.
Yeah.
And you know, it's very easy to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Not for me, it's not.
Yeah.
back to these recorded conversations and noticing my mistakes, and then practicing those words and sounds in order to make them more habitual. They're not habitual yet, but that's my goal. Alright, I need to practice, but I also need to babysit. So, can I speak to you in an RP accent? The following day, I had some more encouraging reactions. If it's alright with you, I'd like to ask you a few questions to see if you know the answers. So,
All right.
which language has the most native speakers in the world?
Oh snap. Would it be English? Native, you said.
Native speakers. Not the total number of speakers, but native speakers specifically.
Would it be Mandarin? No.
Mandarin, yes, that's right. Yes, you got it.
Snap it.
Which foreign language has supplied more than half of our English vocabulary?
Oh, foreign language, yeah. How back are we talking?
Go back about 1,000 years, then you can...
1,000 years.
The language of a country that's not too far away from you.
See, because I want to say either like French or German.
Yeah, you're right. It's French.
I don't know.
It's French.
It's French.
You're
Oh,
right. It's French. All right, good job.
Okay.
Bit giddy.
All right, can I ask you one other question? This question is a
Of course.
bit different. So based on the way I'm speaking, where do you think I'm from?
Oh shit. Oh, sorry.
Sounds a bit
I probably
Australian.
shouldn't swear. It's not in Eastern Europe, is it?
I'm actually from Canada, but what I'm attempting to do during this chat is to put on a British accent as best as I can to see if I can speak with British people without them noticing that I'm...
Do you know what I think he sounds like? South African.
Yeah, a little bit. He's overdoing it on the
Yeah.
for me.
That's more of a South African
Yeah.
accent, I'd say.
Yeah, he's Australian. Came a little bit Australian to me there, but he's like I say, he's doing too much. He's focusing too much on the at the end of each word or in between.
And he's stopping in between each word as well.
Yeah,
It's too,
affecting an accent. So this is my
You are trying
best
to
attempt
be
at an RP accent.
I was kind of like, in my head, I was kind of like trying to piece what city in the UK you were from, if that makes sense.
All right, yeah.
That was my first thought. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just thought, this guy doesn't actually seem like he's from the UK though.
Wow, that's interesting. At first, he was wondering what part of the UK that I'm from. That means that I sounded somewhat British, but that my accent wasn't strictly RP. Some of my Canadian pronunciation might have sounded like elements of a regional accent at first, but something about me seemed un-British. Hello.
Hey Paul, 22. Do you know rule number 1 of the pirate code?
I don't know.
you want to know it?
Sure, go ahead.
Rule number 1 of the pirate code is to always have fun.
Always have
My
fun.
lady. Yeah.
Always have fun, alright?
What's your YouTube channel?
My YouTube, it's called Lang Focus. So I'll type it in the chat for
Wait,
you.
I'll just... Yeah.
It's called Lang Focus, as
You're
in
famous. I see your play button in the background. How many languages do you know?
3 or 4, but I talk about all sorts of languages that I don't really speak. It's just I research them and then
Really?
talk about them in the videos.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
It's more like a research project for each one.
Did they get watched in schools?
Sometimes, yeah, I get some messages from
Oh, that's
people who
pretty
say their teachers assigned the video as homework and that sort of thing.
That's pretty cool.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go on then.
So based on the way I'm speaking, where do you think I'm from?
I think you're from... Right, I feel like this is a trick question. I feel like you're not from England.
Okay, why do you say that?
I don't know. I just feel like you're not from England.
Is it based on the way I'm speaking, or is it like based
No,
on the
I
situation?
just feel like it's going to be like a trick, and you're not from England.
Okay.
So I think you're from Germany.
Yeah, I'm actually from Canada. But
Oh,
what I'm trying to do
really?
at the moment,
say that as well. I'm not even right.
I'm kind of trying out something new for this video, and I'm seeing if I can affect
Kids are
the
funny,
British
aren't they?
accent and speak to British people. And
No, it's actually pretty good. Like, I only said not England because I thought it was a trick question, but it's actually a pretty good accent. Yeah. Whereabouts in like Britain though? Because there's like different accents everywhere.
right, so I tried to imitate an RP accent.
You just got like a, what is it? Just like an average accent, not an average, like you know where it's like
Generic.
A neutral
I don't know
accent.
how to explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm attempting to do, but
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
sure.
it's pretty good.
Needs
this
a
lad
tissue.
didn't seem to notice anything odd about my accent, even though I myself can hear some of my Canadian accent coming through.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was listening for that, and the room he was in was quite noisy as well. So this day was going better than the previous one, but something still didn't feel right. The next day, I think I discovered why.
Why do you sound so posh?
Posh. Not
Says him.
bad, but posh. Was I speaking in a way that was inappropriate for the situation?
Why do you sound so posh?
So posh. I don't know, where do you think I'm from?
I don't know. I want to say like England, but at the same time I know you're not.
I told him about my challenge and asked him what he thought. So what,
I mean,
on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I doing? Is it like a
Decent.
decent?
But I'd say, yeah, but if you're gonna like try and act like an Englishman, you gotta speak with that, like, the depth in your voice.
The depth in my voice, alright. So more like...
A little bit more deep, but still
Deep.
posh.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
like, you can tell I'm English without a doubt, because how I'm talking, just, like, straightforward.
I think I was
He's
starting
right.
to understand why I wasn't really coming across as English. I had learned the sounds of an English accent, but had not really experienced what it feels like to speak as an English person. I realized that I had actually achieved my goal. I had learned a fake English accent rather than an authentic one. So I needed to shift my thinking and start aiming for a more authentic RP accent. So I booked a session with an accent and voice coach named Molly Parker, who works with actors in London. One thing she noticed was that some of the sounds I'd been practicing sounded more like traditional RP, or heightened RP, rather than the modern RP that's used today.
Great effort. So there are two sounds in there which I would say you've learnt in a more heightened way than you need to. The others just need ever so slight adjustments.
She coached me on individual sounds, but also focused on helping me relax my jaw and create more space in the mouth. This is part of creating the deeper or lower
His name's Paul Jorgensen, so I'm guessing, I wonder if he's got like a Norwegian sort of like parent.
Heritage.
Yeah, Norwegian parents who's like giving that, because he has definitely got that accent.
Yeah, he does.
It's like he's definitely got a European, sort of like a North European to Eastern European sound to his
Yeah, he
to his
does.
words.
Yeah.
resonance that the previous young man had mentioned. But then our session went deeper as we spoke about how to step into an accent rather than focusing on each individual sound.
But when we're taking on an accent and we're thinking about authentic accent learning, to be able to do that in the body instinctively, like it's just coming from you in that authentic way, I think needs to be done, A, with some sort of action or something physical that incorporates the body, or B, I will always ask clients and students to, can you describe the sensory feeling of that? So
good point.
you said stuff like, it feels lighter, or it feels more natural when I emphasize this, or it feels like I'm lengthening this. What you're doing there is you're brilliantly matching up the part of your brain that is the intellectual with the part of the sensory. And so you're literally remapping your body into being able to take on those sounds in an authentic way.
So essentially what she's saying is that I need to practice the accent together with physicality, a certain type of body language or feeling in the body, and also imagery. For example, I tend to speak with very short vowels, and I tend to stop a lot while I'm speaking. So an image I can think of is a sustained, relaxing flow of water, like a calm river. And as a reminder to lower...
He looks like the guy out of How I Met Your Mother.
He does,
Neil
yeah.
Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
And doing like a British accent.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
my jaw and keep more open space in the mouth, I can imagine myself standing on a cliff looking down at the water below. So the space between the river and the cliff is the space between my jaw and the roof of my mouth, if that makes sense. So that image serves two purposes. It gives me a visual reminder of the feeling of the accent, and it serves as a doorway to help me access the accent. Of course, one session is not enough to master all of this, so I'm going to have to continue working on this after the video is released. But I already feel more natural stepping into this accent, even if it's not perfect. And I think this helped me achieve my first partial success in this challenge.
Wait, what content do you make?
I make content about languages and dialects and things like that. So it's about linguistics.
Are you
and...
like one of those people that talk to like someone that's speaking in their language and then you shock them by speaking their language?
Not really. Not typically. I make sort of documentary videos about languages. Sort of.
You like teach people?
Right, like I research a language and then talk about its features in the video. That's typically what I do. Here are a couple of questions for you. First, in which 6 countries is German an official language? You don't have to name all 6, but name as many as you can. Where is German an official language?
German.
Does Germany count?
Germany counts. Absolutely counts. Luxembourg's another
Austria.
one.
Yeah.
Those two cheated.
And there's one more.
One more. Can we get a hint?
Starts with an S.
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Switzerland, you're right. Oh, there's one other, actually.
Austria.
Liechtenstein is the 6th one. So it's a small country next to Switzerland. All right, so that was a bit of a challenging question. One more. How many languages are spoken in the world?
Oh, wait, 1,093.
More than that.
Damn, what? How's there that many?
2,000.
2,000, even more. There are actually 7,000 languages in the world.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Speak English? It's crazy.
All right, I have one other question. This question's a bit different. Based on the way I'm speaking, where do you think I'm from?
I'm going to say American. I think English.
Who thinks English?
I do.
You think I'm English? All right. So I'm actually from Canada, but the
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense, yeah.
the challenge I'm doing at the moment is to see if I can adopt a sort of English accent with English pronunciation and speak to people in the UK and see if they believe me, to see if they believe that I'm from the UK. So I don't know how well I'm doing. What do you think?
If you said it, I'll believe it. You know?
If I said it, you believe it. All right.
Yeah.
So
I think the way how you pronunciate the word.
See how he sort of went there? If you said it, believe it, he flowed with it. And
Yeah.
it did sound English
Yeah.
when he said it like that. But because he's stopping, like he said, he even said before, he's stopping every time.
I think that's how he normally speaks, so it's going to be hard to be able to break that up.
But when he flowed with that, then he did sound English.
Words makes it sound like you speak proper English instead of like how people break it down now. Tuesday. But I think
Tuesday.
you pronounce it like proper, so I'd think that you'd be a higher class of English.
Like, does it sound actually like proper posh English, or does it sound like
You
I'm
sound
faking?
British, not English.
British, not English.
Because English is more like, well,
Chavia
obviously it's
now.
the same thing, but there's more like slang in English. But
Right.
when people say they speak British, they usually sound a lot more like posh.
Right, so it's sort of more like an RP accent. I'm attempting to do an RP accent, but I don't know exactly how close I'm getting, you know.
What's an RP accent?
I was going to say
RP,
they don't know
received
what.
pronunciation. So it's sort of like the
Sorry.
quote-unquote standard accent, but there really is no standard, of course, but it's like the traditional standard.
Nah, you'd be a good voice actor.
You're saying.
I don't know, I'm pretty gullible, I believe it. But
All right.
I think the formality of how you speak as well
Right.
matches it. Well,
All right, I consider this a partial success. One of the 3 guessed that I was English, even though he clearly wasn't sure. So with that, I'm going to step back into my native accent on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm stepping away from the cliff. So this was quite an enlightening experience, and I learned a number of things. One thing I learned, or was reminded of, is that you can't just speak an accent based on an impression of how it sounds. You really need to learn the specific sounds of that accent and practice them all in isolation. This helped me achieve something in the neighborhood of an RP accent. But I was also reminded that it takes a lot of time and practice to make those sounds habitual, because while speaking to people I often missed certain sounds or I fell back into my Canadian accent for a moment without realizing it. I also learned that there's an overall oral quality to an accent, and that you need to pay attention to your oral posture in order to get closer to it. That's why I had to focus on lowering my jaw to create space in the mouth, and to let resonance come from down low rather than up above. And I also learned that an accent has a certain feeling to it, and associating that feeling with imagery can help you access the accent. This is probably something that's very applicable to learning other languages too. I've never been great at achieving a near-native accent in languages that I learn, but I noticed that people who learn languages with very authentic pronunciation are usually people who really identify deeply with the culture in which that language is spoken, and they wish to be a part of it rather than just observe it. They really seek to experience what it's like to be a person in that culture, and all of those feelings and memories of those experiences are connected with authentic pronunciation. In this challenge, I learned to kind of pronounce RP sounds, but to be honest, I don't really know enough about England or RP speakers to put myself in their shoes and speak authentically. One thing I think I can do about that is to immerse myself in more English TV and YouTube videos with a modern RP accent, so I can become more familiar with the people and the way they express themselves. I think that can help me with some of the more subtle but important aspects of speaking with that accent. Then I can...
I think we're at the end of the video there.
Yeah.
But he's, I think what he's saying there is what he could have done. He could have watched something like Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
If you're going to go with that RP accent, pick up your Downton Abbeys, your
or listen to Prince Charles or
Bridgerton. Prince Charles is way over the top. Royal family's
King
very
Charles,
King Charles now. Yeah, he's way over the. That's Prince William would probably be more of a.
Yeah, I was going to say Prince William. The longer they go down the reign, the more the accent becomes normal.
The more sort of like standard it becomes. But when you've got like Bridgerton, like I say, Downton Abbey, things like Absolutely Fabulous. You get sort of like Joanna Lumley speaks very well.
Yeah.
Her accent's very RP sort of thing, but. You look at, if you look at
Princess Kate, like nobody knew how she spoke until he started dating her.
Yeah.
And then this really.
Well, she's a commoner.
But
she's a commoner though at the end of the day. But when you've got like our accents, for example, and then you see how Aidan speaks, or how Aidan's got like a very generic accent. He's in the way he doesn't really have a he doesn't really have a northern Manchester accent.
No.
And he doesn't have a southern accent or a Midlands accent. It's just like a generic.
Expat
accent, I would say, yeah. But then you look at, Declan's accent's very different, and then you look at other people who have travelled around a little bit as well, and their accents all differ.
Yeah.
But I think he's putting too much effort into it.
I don't think he'll ever be able to do that accent because the way he speaks, it does sound like Nordic.
Yeah, he'd be better off trying to get his head around like an Irish sort of like accent first.
Yeah.
I think he'd win over on that. I think he'd be able to fool people if he's Irish.
African.
Or South African, yeah. And then that'd sort of like snowball into a British accent or an English accent, whichever way you wanted to do it. But yeah, it's good seeing about languages and how you have to sort of, your movement of your jaw. It goes to show what goes into acting as well. When when certain actors, you look at people like Stephen Graham, who does like loads of different parts, where you listen to him speak and he's got a broad Scouse accent.
Yeah.
He's got a real strong Liverpool accent, sort of thing. But then you see him doing American, you see him doing
he's natural. He's Scottish.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's Liverpool. Stephen Graham.
So who's
You're thinking of Martin Compton or whatever his name is. He's Scottish.
His accent's really good.
Yeah, but Stephen Graham's Liverpool accent, very strong.
Yeah, he is. You're right.
But there you go. Anyway, let us know if you can do an English accent. See if you can fool us.
Yeah.
But you couldn't. It'd take a lot to fool me on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it.
The body language too.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.
Bye.
Cheers.